We're live, Didi.
Okay. I think we should turn this light on. Jai Shri Shri Guru Chaitanya Ki Jai. Jai Shri Shri Guru Chaitanya Ki Jai. Jai Shri Guru Chaitanya Ki Jai. Jai Vishnu Parahamsa. Hari Prajakacha Jastita Sita Shri Shri Bhakti Sundar Guru Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Vishnu Parahamsa. Pari Prajakacharya Astutera Sita Shri Shivan Srila Bhakti Rakot Sri Dardev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Like here, you mean? So close?
Yeah. The closer it is to your mouth, the better.
Oh, it is? Okay. Welcome to Sri Chaitanya SCSMission morning class, Dandavat. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jita Parakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitangstam Sajivam Savetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitangscha Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Nama Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Haribo. Jai Shri Chaitanya Charitamrta. We're beginning the Anchalila. Vrinda. Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Ki Jai. Srila Om Vishnupad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. We're on text number 48. Rupa Dandavata Kari Haridasa Kahila Haridasa Mili Prabhu Rupaya Lingila. When the Lord arrived, Rupa Goswami immediately offered his obeisances. Haridas informed the Lord, "This is Rupa Goswami offering your obeisances." And the Lord embraced him. So now Srila Rupa Goswami has come to Nilachal, Jagannath Puri, and immediately gone to the house of Haridas Thakur and Mahaprabhu after witnessing the arti of Lord Jagannath, came as usual to see Haridas Thakur and met with Rupa Goswami. Haridasa Rupe Lanya Prabhu Vasila Ekastane Kushala Prashna Ishtagoshti Kaila Katakshane. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then sat down with Haridas and Rupa Goswami. They inquired from one another about auspicious news and then continued to talk together for some time. So this is very nice. Inquiring about auspicious news. Sanatanera Varta Jabigo Sai Puchila Rupakahe Tarasange Dekanahaila. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inquired about Sanatana Goswami, Rupa Goswami replied, "I did not meet him. Ami Gangapate Ailana Tingho Rajapate Ataeva Amara Deka Nahila Tarasate." I came by the path on the banks of the Ganges, whereas Sanatana Goswami came by the public road. Therefore we did not meet. Prayageshu nilunte hoge la vrindavane anupamera ganga prapti kaila nivedane. In Prayag, I heard that he had already gone to Vrindavan. Rupa Goswami next informed the Lord about the death of Anupama. So now Sanatana Goswami's gone to Vrindavan. Rupetaha vasadiya gosai chalila Gosanyira Sangi Bhakta Rupere Milila. After allotting residential quarters there to Rupa Goswami, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left. Then all the Lord's personal associates met with Srila Rupa Goswami. Aradina Mahaprabhu Shabhabhaktalanya Rupe Milaila Shabaya Kripata Kariya. On the next day, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again met Rupa Goswami, and with great mercy the Lord introduced him to all the devotees. Shabara Charana Rupa Karila Vandana Kripakari Rupe Shabe Kaila Alingana. Srila Rupa Goswami offered his respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of them all, and all the devotees by their mercy embraced him. Advaita Nityananda Tomara Duijane Prabhu Kahe Rupe Kripakara Kaya Mane. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Advaita Acharya and Nityananda Prabhu, you should both show your mercy wholeheartedly to Rupa Goswami. Toma dunhara kripate inhara hautaiche shakti jate vivarite prarena Krishna rasa bhakti. May Rupa Goswami, by your mercy, become so powerful that he will be able to describe the transcendental mellows of devotional service. So he's asking, Mahaprabhu is asking Nityananda Prabhu and Advaita Prabhu to give his mercy so that Rupa Goswami will be so powerful as to be able to describe the transcendental mellows of devotional service. That is very powerful. That is such a divine, transcendental, hidden subject. Gauriya Udiya Yatta Prabhura Bhaktagana Sabara Haila Rupa Snehera Bhajana. Thus Rupa Goswami became the object of love and affection for all the devotees of the Lord, including those who came from Bengal and those who resided in Orissa. Text 59. Pratidina ashe rupe karena milane mandira je prasadapana dena duijane. Every day Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would go to see Rupa Goswami, and whatever prasadam he received from the temple, he would deliver to Rupa Goswami and Haridas Thakur. Mahaprabhu himself. Because Haridas Thakur and Srila Rupa Goswami didn't enter the temple of Jagannath. And so, but Mahaprabhu himself would bring prasadam for them. Ishtagoshti dunha sane kari katakshana Vajjahna karite prabhu karila gamana. He would talk for some time with them both and then leave to perform his noontime duties. E mata pratidina prabhura vyavahara prabhu kripa panya rupena ananda apara. In this way, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's dealings with them continued every day. Thus, receiving the transcendental favor of the Lord, Srila Rupa Goswami felt unlimited pleasure. So much love and affection and mercy is coming to Srila Rupa Goswami. He's feeling unlimited pleasure. Bhaktagana lanya kaila gundicha marjana aitota ashikaila vanya bojana. After Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, taking all his devotees with him, performed the Gundicha Marjan, washing and cleansing of the Gundicha temple, he went to the garden known as Aitota and accepted prasadam at a picnic within the garden. So this was after the cleansing of the Gundicha temple. All the devotees went to the Aitota garden. Prasadakaya Haribale Sarva Bhakta Jana Deki Haridasa Rupera Harasita Mana. When Haridas Thakur and Rupa Goswami saw that all the devotees were accepting prasadam and chanting the holy name of Lord Hari, they were very pleased. Govinda Dwara Prabhura Shesha Prasada Paila Preme Mata Duijana Nachite Lagila. When they received the remnants of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's prasadam through Govinda, they respected it, and then they both began to dance in ecstasy. So Haridas Thakur and Srila Rupa Goswami, coming to the Ayutthaya garden, they saw all the devotees taking prasadam, and they were so greatly pleased to see that. And then Govinda, the servant of Mahaprabhu, brought them their prasadam. Aradina Prabhu Rupe Milia Basila Sarvagya Shiromani Prabhu Kahite Lagila. On the next day, when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to see Srila Rupa Goswami, the omniscient Lord spoke as follows. Krishnera Bahira Nahikari Ha Brajahaite Brajachari Krishna Kabuna Jnana Kahante. Do not try to take Krishna out of Vrindavan. So, this is following Srila Mahaprabhu, the omniscient Lord, as Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj is mentioning for a real reason in this context, that Satyabhama herself had come and said, there should be two dramas, make my drama separate. And now Mahaprabhu is repeating the same thing. Do not try to take Krishna out of Vrindavan, for he does not go anywhere else at that time, at any time. Krishna nyo jadu sambuto ya purnaso styata paraha Vrindavanam parityajya Sakvachin naiva gacchati. The Krishna known as Yadu Kumar is Vasudev Krishna. Vasudev Krishna. He is different from the Krishna who is the son of Nanda Maharaj. Yadu Kumar Krishna manifests his pastimes in the cities of Mathura and Dwarka, but Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaj, never at any time leaves Vrindavan. So they are the same person, but different. They're Krishna manifesting himself as Vasudeva, the son of Vasudeva. Those are different pastimes. That's an expansion of Krishna in Vrindavan, but not that Krishna's Vrindavan pastimes are his real self, his original self, and he's expanding himself in many ways. And sometimes we think Krishna left Vrindavan and went to Mathura, but Krishna never leaves Vrindavan. Krishna and Vrindavan are the same thing, but it is looking like that. He's actually his expansion who leaves Vrindavan, and Krishna is existing in the Vipralamba pastimes. This verse is included in the Laghu Bhagavatamrita by Srila Rupa Goswami. So Mahaprabhu is giving this verse, and Rupa Goswami later includes it in his composition. Ekakahi Mahaprabhu Majjane Chalila Rupa Gosai Mane Kichu Bishmaya Haila. After saying this, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to perform his noontime duties, leaving Srila Rupa Goswami somewhat surprised. Pratak Nataka Karite Satyabhama Agyadila Janilu Pratak Nataka Karite Prabhu Agyahaila. Satyabhama ordered me to write 2 different dramas, Srila Rupa Goswami thought. Now I understand that this order has been confirmed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Any questions about any of this? Purve dui nataka chila ekatra rachana dui bhagakari ebe kari mugatana. Formerly, I wrote the two dramas as one composition, and now I shall divide it and describe the incidents in two separate works. So these are fine points. And of course we are warned not to give so many, not to be so anxious to write. We don't understand so many things. But we can, the books that are coming out, these are directly transcriptions from the words of our gurus. We're not writing some books separately. But Rupa Goswami was empowered to write these dramas, and he understood them very well. That's maybe outside of the temple room a little bit.
Oh.
Yeah, this is personal thing. But that's okay. But you know what I mean? In front of the deity, we're not doing so many. Dui nanda prastavana dui sangatana pritakarya liki kariya bhavana. I shall write two separate invocations of good fortune and two different introductions. Let me think deeply about the matter and then describe the two different sets of incidents. So these are the thoughts of Srila Rupa Goswami, having heard from Mahaprabhu, the confirmation of what he heard from Sri Satyabhama Devi. He's saying, I'm going to write two separate invocations of good fortune and two different introductions. And let me think deeply about the matter and then describe two different sets of incidents. So these two dramas will be separate. The two works are the Vidagdha Madhava and the Lalita Madhava. The Vidagdha Madhava describes the pastimes in Vrindavan, and the Lalita Madhava describes the pastimes of Dwarka and Mathura. Rata Jatraya Jagannatha Darshana Karila Rata Agre Prabhura Nritya Kirtana Dekila. During the Rata Yatra festival, Rupa Goswami saw Lord Jagannath. He also saw Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dancing and chanting in front of the Rath. During the Rata Yatra ceremony, Rupa Goswami saw Lord Jagannath. He also saw Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dancing and chanting in front of the Rath. Prabhura Nritya Shloka Shuni Shri Rupa Gosai Se Shlokarta Lanya Shloka Karila Tatai. When Rupa Goswami heard a verse uttered by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu during the ceremony, he immediately composed another verse dealing with the same subject. So Srila Rupa Goswami, of course, is attending the Rath Yatra of Lord Jagannath and observing Mahaprabhu's wonderful pastimes there, and hearing something that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, a verse he recited. Srila Rupa Goswami immediately composed another verse that is dealing with that same subject. This is very famous, of course. Purve se shabakata karyache varnana tatapi kahiye kichu sankshepe katana. I've already described all these incidents, but I wish to add briefly something more. Shamaya akashloka prabhupadena kirtane kene shloka pade ihake hanahi jane. Generally, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recited a verse while dancing and chanting before the Rath, but no one knew why he was reciting that particular verse. It was mysterious to the devotees that Mahaprabhu would recite this verse in front of the Rath cart. Shabe Eka Swarupa Goswai Shlokera Artha Jane Shlokanurupa Pada Prabhuke Karana Asvadane. Only Swarup Damodar Goswami knew the purpose for which the Lord recited that verse. Only one person. According to the Lord's attitude, he used to quote other verses to enable the Lord to relish mellows.
What was the verse? What verse was it?
Oh, I think we're going to hear it in a minute. But Swarup Damodar now is being described. Swarup Damodar's insight into the moods of Mahaprabhu was so profound that immediately he would recite other verses to enhance that mood. He could understand everything. So when Mahaprabhu recited this particular verse, which was very mysterious for others, Swarup Damodar was the one who could understand the meaning. Rupa Gosai Prabhu Rajaniya Abhipraya Se Arte Shloka Kaila Prabhu Jai Baya. Rupa Goswami, however, could understand the intention of the Lord, and thus he composed another verse that appealed to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So now this is the verse that Mahaprabhu recited. We're going to read that now. Jakumara hara eva sa eva hi varasta eva chaitra chapas te konmilita malati surabaya proda kamam kadambanila sa chaivasmi tatapi tatra surata vyapara lila vidao reva rodasi vetasi tarutale cheta samutkantate. So this is what Mahaprabhu is reciting. Actually, this is not a verse from scripture. This was just an ordinary song, a popular song about some romantic idea. And some lady, Guru Maharaj is described, a lady is describing, remembering meeting her husband when they were young, and they were together on the banks of this river. That very personality who stole my heart during my youth is now again my master. These are the same moonlit nights in the month of Chaitra. The same fragrance of malati flowers is there, and the same sweet breezes are blowing from the Kadamba forest. In our intimate relationship, I am also the same lover, yet still my mind is not happy here. I am eager to go back to that place on the bank of the Reva, under the Vetasi tree. That is my desire. And that is the verse. As Srila Gurudev said, Srila Guru Maharaj describing this verse said, that nasty song. Because it was sung as, like a romance song, is a popular song that people would sing. About, this wife, she's in front of her husband, but her mind is going back to when they were young and they met.
This is not Radharani's
No, but Mahaprabhu, when he's singing it, he's referring to something else. But no one can understand why Mahaprabhu is singing this verse in front of Lord Jagannath.
I thought this was a verse by Radharani in Kurukshetra.
That is what Rupa Goswami understands. And Swarup Damodar understands. But when Mahaprabhu was actually singing this verse, which is just from a popular song that the people sing about romance and all this nonsense. So nobody could understand why Mahaprabhu was also saying this verse. But Rupa Goswami knew and Swarup Damodar knew. So, hearing this, Rupa Goswami composed another verse describing this, but from the internal understanding. So, this is what's coming next. Priya soyam Krishna sahachari kurukshetra militas tataham sa radha taridam ubayo sangama sukham tatapyanta kelan madura murali panchamadushe manome kalandi pulina vipinaya sprihayati. My dear friend, now I have met my very old and dear friend Krishna on this field of Kurukshetra. This is what Rupa Goswami wrote afterwards, because he understood why Mahaprabhu was singing that song. I am the same Radharani, and now we are meeting together. It is very pleasant, but I would still like to go to the bank of the Jamuna, beneath the trees of the forest there. I wish to hear the vibration of his sweet flute playing the fifth note within that forest of Vrindavan. This is the verse composed by Srila Rupa Goswami. It is included in the Pajavali, an anthology of verses that he compiled. Talapatre shloka liki chalete rakila samudra snan Karibare Rupa Gosai Gela. After writing this verse on a palm leaf, Rupa Goswami put it somewhere in his thatched roof and went to bathe in the sea. So the roof of his little dwelling was thatched. That means it's made of grass. And he just put it in there and went to take bath in the sea, Samudra. Is all this clear? Haridev Prabhu?
Yes, it is clear. Those romantic songs are nasty.
Yeah, huh?
That you were describing this popular song.
Yeah.
And what Guru Maharaj thought about it.
Yeah, but also that had a deep internal meaning, which Swarup Damodar Prabhu, of course, understood, as he always understood the heart of Mahaprabhu. And also Rupa Goswami understood, and he wrote down the verse describing that verse in the internal sense.
But why you think that Srila Guru Maharaj said that nasty song?
It's just an ordinary, mundane song. Just mundane. Mundane love, so-called love.
Oh, I see.
At that time, I mean, in general, of course, when Mahaprabhu says it, it becomes completely of
So
the...
Mahaprabhu took it from a folklore song? That's
Yeah.
what you want to say?
Yeah, it's a popular song of the time.
Before even Mahaprabhu composed it.
Mahaprabhu didn't compose it, he just sang it.
He was singing, he took it from a folklore, from a popular song.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was going around in those days.
Yeah, and he just sang it in front of Lord Jagannath. At that time, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went there to meet him, to meet Rupa Goswami. And when he saw the leaf pushed into the roof and saw the verse, he began to read it. Shlokapadi Prabhu Shuke Prema Vishtahaila Hena Kale Rupa Gosai Snana Kari Aila. After reading the verse, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was overwhelmed by the ecstatic love. At that very time, Rupa Goswami returned, having finished his bath in the sea. Prabhu deki dandavata prangane padila Prabhutare chapada mari kahite lagila. After seeing the Lord, Rupa Goswami fell flat in the courtyard to offer obeisances. The Lord slapped him mildly in love and spoke as follows. What do you think he's going to say, Haridev Prabhu?
Haridev.
Now, Didi?
Huh?
Who's going to speak now, Didi?
What?
Who's going to speak now?
Now, Mahaprabhu is going to speak to Rupa Goswami.
I don't know what he's going to say.
Why don't you come in here?
Because I'm still applying this.
Because what?
I'm applying this one thought to the other.
But you can do that later. Gudamora hritaya tuni janila kemane etakahi rupe kaila riddha alingane. My heart is very confidential. How did you know my mind in this way? After saying this, he firmly embraced Rupa Goswami. Say shloka lanya prabhu swarupe de kaila swarupera parikshalagi tahare puchila. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took that verse and showed it to Swarup Damodar for him to examine. Then the Lord questioned him. Mora antara varta rupa janila kemane Swarupa kahe jani kripa kariya cha apane. How could Rupa Goswami have understood my heart? The Lord asked, and Swarup Damodar replied, I can understand that you have already bestowed your causeless mercy upon him. And Guru Maharaj says this, if we are to understand something about the divine plane, that can only come with the sanction and mercy of that plane. So how does Rupa Goswami understand my heart? So Damodar says, because you've given him the mercy to do so. Anyata e artakara nahi haya jnana tumi purve kripa kaila kariyanumana. No one could otherwise understand this meaning. I therefore guess that previously you showed upon him your causeless mercy. Prabhu kahe iho amaya prayage milila. Yogya patra jani inhaya mora kripata haila. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, Rupa Goswami met me at Prayag. Knowing him to be a suitable person, I naturally bestowed my mercy upon him. This is a beautiful point. Mahaprabhu is saying, knowing the qualification of his devotional heart, naturally I'm giving him my mercy. Tabe Shakti Sanchariyami Kailu Upadesha Tumiha Kahio Ihanya Rasera Bishesha. Thereupon I thereupon also bestowed upon him my transcendental potency. Now you should also give him instructions, and particularly instruct him in transcendental mellows. I thereupon also bestowed upon him my transcendental potency. Now you also should give him instructions. In particular, instruct him in transcendental mellows. So he's saying, I bestowed upon him my power. Now I also want you to give him instruction in transcendental mellows. And Swarup Damodar is fully conversant with those mellows. So I think we can just stop right here and then and repeat this verse tomorrow, because now Sri Swarup Damodar will reply to Mahaprabhu about the nature of Mahaprabhu's mercy upon Srila Rupa Goswami. And we're all followers of the followers of Srila Rupa Goswami and all the Goswamis. And we're singing it every day in Hari Haraya. We're asking that those followers of the 6 Goswamis, the dust of their feet are my 5 kinds of food stuff. And may I always serve the pure followers of the 6 Goswamis life after life. So these pastimes are very, very important and significant for not only, for the world, really. Rupa Goswami, what he was empowered to give is so high and not attainable and not obtainable through any other way. There may be so many kinds of Vaishnavas, but the followers of Srila Rupa Goswami in the line of Saraswati Thakur, that is very different. That is, and then there's Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Mat. Guru Maharaj says. There's general Vaishnava, then there's Gaudiya Vaishnavas, and then there's Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Mat. Hari Bol. Jai. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta ki jai. Oh, careful, don't scald any of the flowers. Hari Bol. Jai Shri Chaitanya Charitamrta ki jai, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj ki jai, Srila Om Vishnupad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Sorry. Always too informal. Anyway, I'm trying to get better. Jai. Now we're going to be reading Sri Brihad Bhagavatamrita given to us by whom? Yes, Srila Sanatana Goswami.
So we are not, today is Sunday, you don't read the...
I always read Brihad Bhagavatamrita on Sunday.
Okay.
And then whatever we've been reading, we just continue on Monday. It's nice to chant the Upadesamrita every day. But anyhow.
Sunday is Brihad Bhagavatamrita.
Yeah, special treat. So this is the first volume of the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, and this is called Prapanchita, that is beyond the material world.
Prapanchita, that's what it means.
Yeah, so Narada Muni now has come beyond beyond the Viraja, beyond the Brahmajyoti and Shiva Loka. Okay, let me just go back here and find exactly where we are. So now Narada Muni is talking with Lord Shiva in divine Shiva Loka, beyond the material world. Not Lord Shiva's expansions in the mundane world are something, but there is Sadashiva. Okay. All right, so this is text 76, page 243 in this book. Bhagavad Vanchanani Tvam Kim Tu Vishmritavanasi Aditane Puraneshu Shlokametang Nakim Smare. Surely you haven't forgotten the Supreme Lord's words about this. You must have read them in the Puranas and must remember the following verses. Okay. This is Lord Shiva speaking. So I'm going to go back to the previous verse. And Lord Shiva is saying, there is a greater recipient of Krishna's mercy than your father, meaning Brahma, me, and other servants like Garuda and even the goddess of fortune.
He's talking to
Narada. His name is Prahlad. He is famous throughout the world as the dearmost devotee of Krishna. And then, surely you haven't forgotten the Supreme Lord's words about this. You must have read them in the Puranas and must remember the following verse. Naham atmanam asase madbhaktai sadhubir bina shriyam atyantikam vapi jaishangatirahang para. Without saintly persons for whom I am the only destination, I do not desire to enjoy my transcendental bliss or my supreme opulences.
This is a famous verse. From?
This is from the Srimad Bhagavatam. Commentary, this verse spoken by the Supreme Lord to Durvasa Muni in the 9th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam is cited here to establish the greatness of the Vaishnavas in general. I think this is the verse from the pastime of Maharaj Ambarish. And when Durvasa Muni cursed him, and then the Sudarshan Chakra is chasing Durvasa Muni all around. And then Durvasa is like, you're supposed to be the friend of the Brahmins. What happened? Why are you not protecting me? And then
Durvasa said to Vishnu.
Yeah, and then Lord Vishnu is saying, without my devotees, my pure devotees, like Ambarish.
Because Durvasa is a Brahmana.
Yeah, and anyway, so this is the response of the Lord. The personality of God.
Can you please repeat that verse?
Without saintly persons for whom I am the only destination, I do not desire to enjoy my transcendental bliss or my supreme opulences. Without those persons for whom I am the only destination. So he's chastising Durvasa Muni. Ambarish Maharaj is continuing to fast. He's not running away from your curse. But you're running away. Why are you running from me if you're so devoted? He doesn't care if I kill him or save him or anything. But you're so fearful of death. You're running away from my Sudarshan Chakra. Those devotees for whom I'm the only destination, without them I don't even want to enjoy my own transcendental position. This is what the Lord is saying to Durvasa Muni. The personality of Godhead derives great satisfaction from his pure devotees on the earth and elsewhere, and in contrast, he is not as much attracted to his own consort, in Vaikuntha, or the imperishable opulences she creates for his pleasure. He's saying even those opulences, I don't care about them without my devotees. Nor is he as much attracted by his own beauty. As the Lord further told Durvasa, Aham bhakta paradino yasvatantra ivadvija sadhubhya grasta hridayo bhakta bhakta jana priya. I am completely under the control of my devotees. Indeed, I am not at all independent. Because my devotees are completely devoid of material desires, I sit only within the core of their hearts. What to speak of my devotees? Even the devotees of my devotees are very dear to me.
Same book, Bhagavad. Yeah, this is.
Yeah, I'm not.
Mayi
Mayi nirbadha hridaya sadhava samadarshina vase kurvanti mam bhaktya satstriya satpatinyata. As chaste women bring the gentle husbands under their control by service, so pure devotees who are equal to everyone and completely attached to me in the core of their heart bring me under their control. That's the 9th canto of the Bhagavatam. Uddhava heard similar words from Sri Krishna. Na tata me priyatama atmajonir na shankaraha na cha shankarshano na shrir naivatma chata bhavan. My dear Uddhava, neither Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Lord Shankarshan, the goddess of fortune, nor indeed my own self is as dear to me as you. And this is in the 11th canto of the Bhagavatam. Srila Sanatana Goswami comments that Sri Krishna, in this verse from the Bhagavatam, meant to make the general statement that no one else is as dear to him as his pure devotees. But because Krishna became so ecstatic thinking about the specific glories of his devotees, instead of saying my devotee, he unintentionally said, you, Uddhava. Well, of course, it does refer to Uddhava, but it refers to all the devotees, all of his pure devotees. Madhati devata joni, but that is a very great favor to Uddhava. Because although he's making a general statement about his relationship with his devotees, he was so overwhelmed by Uddhava's particular love for him that he said Uddhava. But this is applying to everyone. So that is a very wonderful, glorious thing about Uddhava, that he could make the Lord so distracted that he said like that.
Uddhava is Arjuna, right?
No.
It's Uddhava.
No, Uddhava is not Arjuna.
It's Krishna's friend in Dwaraka.
So yeah, Uddhava. Yeah, there's a lot. We can talk about this at the second class. Uddhava, yeah, it's Krishna's friend in Dwaraka.
Because Krishna in the Gita speaks to Arjuna as Uddhava sometimes.
No.
No?
No.
Well.
No.
Another name like that, maybe.
He has many names.
Madhava,
Maybe something.
Madhava.
No, Madhava is Krishna's name, but there may be some other name that starts with a U that sounds like that.
Okay, second class.
Mahadadi devata jonir nija bhakta vinodakrit Srimurti rapisa debyo napeksha kohi naututan. The Lord's divine personal form is the source of all the demigods, including me. Who's speaking? This is again Lord Shiva speaking to Narada. And gives great pleasure to his devotees. The Lord's divine personal form is the source of all the demigods. So if we're overwhelmed by some kind of beauty in this world, or in the upper world. We have to remember that's just nothing, just a little spark of the beauty of the Lord, the transcendental beauty of the Lord. He is the source of all the demigods, including me, and gives great pleasure to his devotees. But the Lord considers his own body worthless compared to the value of his devotees. Although his transcendental form is the source of everything, he's considering it to be nothing compared to the value of devotion and the devotees. Who is fit to praise the Lord's devotees? Commentary. The demigods headed by Shiva, Brahma, and Indra all originate from the creator of the universe, the Supreme Lord's Mahapurush incarnation. So this is, anyway, there's so many things. That Mahapurush form of Vishnu is a direct expansion of Lord Narayan. In another sense of the word yoni, Narayan himself is the shelter of all created and non-created beings. His personal form is superior, therefore, to the glorious worshipable forms of all the demigods that are temporary. The Lord's all-attractive beauty delights his servants like Shesha and Garuda, who enjoy taking part in his pastimes. The opulence and sweetness of the Lord's Sri Murti cannot be completely described in words. However, in the opinion of the personality of Godhead himself, whose form cannot be described in words, his own opulence and sweetness are unworthy of attention compared to the greatness of his pure devotees. Who can adequately glorify the unalloyed devotees? No one.
Could you please repeat that last phrase?
Who can adequately, who can completely describe the glories of the pure devotees? Nobody. Even the Lord is, oh, I can't. Tetrapye shesha bhaktanam upamana tayodinaha sakshad bhagavatai vyasau pralado tarkya bhagyavan. Moreover, among those countless devotees, Prahlad stands out as the example of perfection. The Lord himself has described him in this way. Prahlad's good fortune is inconceivable. So we know, in this Brihad Bhagavatamrita, which is the thesis, Srila Sanatana Goswami's thesis on Sambandha Gyan. Narada is going from one devotee to another, each devotee saying, no. You're mistaken, I'm not that thing. Go to this person, then you'll see devotion. And then now come to Shiva, and now Shiva is saying, no. You should go to Prahlad if you want to find a pure devotee. Prahlad is one of the rare Vaishnavas described in the previous verse who have no trace of material motivation. The Supreme Lord cherishes such pure devotees more than his own self. What to speak of Brahma and other demigods? Furthermore, as the present verse states, Prahlad's surrender is especially complete, conferring on him a devotional position superior to that of pure devotees such as Shesh and Garuda. So, what is the criterion by which all levels of devotion are measured? It's in surrender. So Prahlad's surrender is especially complete, conferring upon him devotional position superior to that of pure devotees such as Shesh and Garuda. His good fortune is unique among Vaishnavas, as the Lord has declared to him, Bhavanti Purusha Loke Madbhaktastvam Manuvrata Bhavan Me Kalubhaktanam Sarvesham Pratirupadruk. Those who follow your example will naturally become my pure devotees. The Lord is saying this to Prahlad. You are the best example of my devotee, and others should follow in your footsteps. This is from the 7th canto of the Bhagavatam. Now we come to text number 80. Tasya sobhagyamasmabi sarver lakshmyapyanutamang sakshadaran yakashipor anubhutam vidarane. When the Lord tore apart Hiranyakashipu, I, all the demigods, and the goddess Lakshmi witnessed with our own eyes the incomparable good fortune of Prahlad. I meaning Lord Shiva. They are witnessing this. Hiranyakashipu bifurcated by the nails of Nrsingadev, which of course we just observed his divine appearance. And Lord Shiva, the demigods, are witnessing that after killing Hiranyakashipu, Nrsingadev is still very angry. He's very angry to see such violence coming from this person, and no one could pacify him. Even Lakshmi Devi standing a little distant. And then she pushed Prahlad to come. And then when Prahlad approached him, then the Lord was very happy. Lord Shiva, Brahma, and many other demigods and devotees headed by Lakshmi Deva and Garuda witnessed the killing of Hiranyakashipu by Lord Nrsinga. With such substantial first-hand evidence for the Lord's special kindness to Prahlad, no one should think that Prahlad's birth in a family of demons disqualified him from being a Vaishnava, that he came personally to kill someone who's harassing his devotee. The Lord's appearance for the sake of Prahlad, Prahlad is further described in the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 8. Any questions about any of this? Everything good?
I have a curious question about Lord Nrsimha.
Mm-hmm.
Is in the Bhagavatam more pastimes besides this Lord Nrsimha tearing apart this demon, or that's the only pastime of Nrsimha?
Oh, that's the only pastime I know. But Lord Nrsingadev has his Vaikuntha planet. That's where he exists eternally, and then he can appear anywhere he likes. But he's existing eternally. He has his own Vaikuntha Dham. So what is going on there all the time, I don't know. But Hiranyakashipu is represented there.
He's represented there.
Yeah, no, he's not there.
Oh.
But he's, that talk is exactly what I heard yesterday morning. And somebody's asking, is Hiranyakashipu also in the Vaikuntha planet of Nrsingadev? And Guru Maharaj said, as a representation, like a picture. Just like if a man is in some country, he's a general of the army, he does some heroic deed, and then some picture is taken of, he's getting a ceremony of praise for his heroism, and then that is on the wall when he goes back to his country. It's like that. So just like Krishna is represented here in picture form, so in the pastimes of the Lord in the mundane world, they're depicted. In other words, they're represented there some way, but not directly that the persons in those pastimes are there. Something like that, he said, which was very charming. But what else is going on there between him and those devotees who are fully loving, that is their feeling for the Lord, is as the Lord Nrsingadev, they're all living there in Vaikuntha. But how everything is going on between them, I don't know.
We don't know about the rasa and the type of relationship between Nrsimha and the devotees?
Well, we do something about that, but all the details. But it is always service. Shantaras and Dasiras, there's very little familiarity there in Vaikuntha at all, between the devotees in Vaikuntha and the Lord in various representations. there's not little, maybe a little bit of Sakya rasa, a little hint of it. But the full representations of the rasas are not really in Vaikuntha. It's all worship. Oh, the Lord. Oh, and of course, in a loving exchange with the Lord. But it's much more formal. I mean, there's no formality in Vrindavan whatsoever. So what those pastimes are.
And when it comes to Sharanagati, when we try to practice that, in what mood, in what rasa is that?
It's not, we're not really thinking of rasa so much. We're trying to purify our hearts. We are practitioners of Sharanagati, but we're not full Sharanagatas at all. I mean, in my case, it's just, it seems like a long way off. But this is our practice. So we're simply trying to remember the Lord in that sense, in the circumstances which have come to. I mean, and we don't want to. Those circumstances have been created by our own necessity for purification. And we can get very caught up in that. It's very important to keep good association. Very, very important. And keep in the practicing life. Practicing life is very important, to take the mind into some higher position. You know, but through the songs, through worshipping Tulsi Devi, through studying, and whatever it is that is our service, according to how we're being engaged, that will take us away from absorption in many stupid things. But in the end, we're not trying to run away from those things, because they're only stupid if I become like, absorbed in them in a selfish mood. But the things themselves have come to purify us, and they are specific prescriptions, personal prescriptions for myself, for you, for everyone. It's very fine. And so easily you can change our perspective. Suddenly we're thinking, oh, this person's this and this person's that. And then suddenly, by remembering the Lord, we say, oh, that person's innocent. That's my problem that I'm dealing with. So quickly that can happen. But, we still are on the battlefield. And also, the mind may gain some ground after that again. And then again, that situation will come, and again, we will practice that. Till we get a little tired of the mind and really, it doesn't have a leg to stand on. There's no argument. It's just 100% self-centered nonsense.
Can I ask another question related to this?
Uh-huh.
Or would you rather if we talk about it in the second class?
You can, I think the class time is over, but we can stop now and you can ask a question, but it might be, if it's not a very big answer, maybe we can wait till tomorrow.
I don't know if it's...
Oh, you don't know the answer. Yeah? So you can, why don't you say it and then...
It's important to preach, to talk to the mind, to speak with the mind. But most importantly...
Can you guys hear this question in the kitchen, Ananya?
No, we can't hear it unless you're speaking to the speaker.
Okay, so...
So
What's the question?
if I was saying that in the scriptures, and in the songs, they show us how it's important for us to speak with the mind and observe the mind. But it also advises that we need to become friends of the mind.
Yeah.
So if we reach that point where we can actually be friendly with our mind, then why will the mind be tiring if it has become our friend? Why would it be tiring? Why would the mind make us exhausted if it becomes our friend?
That's very high though, isn't it? To actually achieve that kind of...
Why, are you asking why would the mind be tired?
If, for example, I was watching this London streaming, And Rai and Sudra, they were speaking about this.
Yeah.
And Rai D.D, she was speaking that that's what we should aim for, like to become friends of our minds.
Right.
And me personally, I have experienced sometimes where my mind is actually speaking positive things to me. So in that moment, why will the mind will make us exhausted when it's our friend?
Because we're not realized souls, right? It doesn't take a high level of like.
Well, we're still a
Because
little.
the mind in Maya is very, right? I mean, I've heard that too. Your mind can be your greatest friend, your greatest enemy.
Right.
But we're all not that far advanced. This I'm just guessing, right? We're not really that far advanced to like for your mind for actually be maybe moments, right? But for your friend to actually mind for you to be a friend, that seems like a very high position.
So I think
Realized soul.
yeah, and if I
That
think
is our goal, I would think, right?
Right.
Of course.
but it's still on the battlefield with that.
It's every day
Right.
struggle. Every
This
day.
because it's almost like we're putting the gas on the car and the brake at the same time. Because there's part of us that is resisting that, for sure. And part of us that is taking good counsel. So it's a little bit of a battlefield still. We have to remember that.
You also can't really distinguish like what, you said sometimes your mind is, you're saying good things to you, but we don't necessarily know that. I mean, we hear the example of when Gurudev came to the mat and Guru Maharaj said, can you listen to me and not your mind? So we really can't be the distinguishers even of what the mind is telling us something good or not. That's why we have to take shelter of the Guru and the senior Vaishnavas, because they're the only ones that really can distinguish that. No?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's, of course, it's still a little bit, we may gain some ground on the battlefield, but we're still on the battlefield. And I guess your subjective experience in that is not so easy for me to understand or something like that, but we're still fighting a battle. And, we may gain some ground, but that doesn't mean that we're not going to be a little bit tired from the battle. I think that might be what you mean. I'm not entirely sure yet, but we can talk about that more later. Yeah. Jai Shri Briha Bhagavatamrita ki Jai Srila Sanatana Goswami ki Jai. Jai Shri Rupa Goswami ki Jai. Rupa Nuga Guru Varga ki
Jai.
Excuse me.
Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra Radha Sri Vaswati Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Rupa Sanatana Bhaktara Guna Shri Jiva Gopalo Bhakta Ratna Hare Krishna, Hare
Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Shri Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswati Acharya Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Sat Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Saparshad Sriman Mahaprabhu Ki Jai. Saparshad Sri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyama Kunda Radha Kundagiri Govardhan Ki Jai. Jai Kolkartal Ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai. Tadiya Shaka Mat Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mission Ki Jai. Kolkartal Ki Jai. Harinam, oh I did that right. But Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Srimati Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Samaveda Vaishnava Mandala Ki Jai. Srimati Brajamohini Didi Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bo.
Jai Srimati Lekha D.D.
Jai Gurudev Ki Jai.
Viman Krishna Prabhu says, good morning, Dandavat.
Good morning, Prabhu.
Tunga Rasa Didi, my Dandavat pranams, dear Shri Lekha D.D. and dear devotees.
Jai
Ganga
Tunga
Lila
Rasa.
Didi says to Dandavat.
Who?
Ganga Lila Didi.
Oh, Gangali Dandavat, Dandavat.
And then
Song
Viman,
huh?
Viman Krishna Prabhu is asking, how was the Harinam last night? Would you like to answer that question, Didi? Well,
Are you on the SCSMission channel? We need to add you so you can see all the pictures.
maybe he is, that's why he's asking.
Oh, of course.
So the Harinam last night was very nice. We went for 2 hours. 2 hours straight just walking around downtown, and there was a lot of people in bars making line and stuff. So we could interact with people and chant to them. It was really nice. My hands, they were bleeding, but it was so beautiful. It was very beautiful.
Haribol.
Haribol. Okay. Dandavat Viman Krishna Prabhu and all the devotees. Have a beautiful day.